things that went wrong from your perspective?
One of the things that we're looking at here at Case Family Services is that we really have been a long-term foster care agency. And we have really begun to make a shift and our practice and our philosophy in terms of working with children and families in a really different way in the last 3 years. And so we're looking more at permanency now, where our work primarily focused on providing long-term care, meaning once a child came into a Casey foster home, you stayed with the foster home and were given those kinds of supports long-term. Now what we're saying is that is no longer, we no longer believe that that's what's best for children.
And when you say permanency, are you talking about adoption or what?
We're talking about adoption, yes. Or at least helping kids reach the highest level of permanency. So it could be a legal name change, but ultimately adoption. It could be reunification, guardianship. And so as an agency, we are moving along the lines of really helping kids to achieve some sort of permanency in their lives. So I think if we look back on working with Josh and Sam, we really weren't looking at helping them to move towards adoption. And so as an agency now, we can look back and say that's where we went wrong. But helping them to secure more lifelong connections and relationships. We did help them reconnect with family members who live in the South, their grandmother and aunts and uncles. But we weren't able to make that a permanent connection. And I think one of the things I would say is that it wasn't as if we didn't believe in adoption as an agency. We definitely did. But I don't think we went the distance in terms of really turning over every rock and every stone that could be to make sure that they had a permanent, lifelong connection.
Why, all things being equal, is it better to them, for children to have that kind of connection than to be in foster care, and typically in more than one?
Mm-hmm. Well, I think we believe that it's healthier for children to have a family that they can rely on and that they can count on and that can be a resource for them. Not until, they're 18 and age out and say, we've done our job and it's time for you to make it on your own. If I look into my life, I'm sure if you look into your own life, you think of the people who have supported you or helped you along the way. My mother is still involved in my life. She's 75, and I have brothers and sisters. And so as I've needed things and support, I can turn to them. When I had my son 3 years ago, I have to look back and say, I had a mother there who could help me with many things. And it's no different for children in foster care. They're going to need those lifelong resources and supports and connections for those different milestones that we will have lifelong.